Hello everyone, I'm once again here with Cambridge AS Level English Language course. Today's video is about how to transform a text into different text types. In this video, I will cover 4 different text types. These are journal, formal letter, formal report, and news report. Before writing a specific text, you must keep two WH words in mind, such as what and why. These words frame questions like what does a specific text carry for the readers and why are you writing that specific text? First of all, keep journal writing in mind and ask yourself, what does a journal keep? Why do you write a journal? Just pause the video and think about these two different questions. A journal basically keeps an account of someone's experiences, and its purpose is to reflect. Here you may have a question in mind. What's the difference between a journal and a diary? A diary is usually daily, where you sum up your routine activities, whereas a journal tells the story of your life or a period of your life. If you know how to answer these two questions for writing any type of text, you can write better. Here I have taken a short extract from a past paper and I'm going to show you how you can transform this extract into 4 different text types. The background of this extract is there was a young girl, Sasha, who had to stay at a hostel that gave her some unpleasant feelings. Let me first read the extract for you. Her dormitory was actually rather unpleasant. The bunks with thin worn mattresses were crammed together. There was no shade on the light bulb, which flickered spasmodically. Although everyone was meant to take turns doing basic cleaning and emptying bins, this rarely happened. The window frame seemed welded shut, its surface encrusted with years of dead flies. The surface of the sink in the corner looked like a relief map with river-like cracks meandering from tap to plug hole and mini mountain ranges molded from toothpaste. Now imagine that you are Sasha, the same girl. Write a journal entry reflecting on your experience regarding the same hostel as Sammy's place. If this task is given to you, how would you start your journal with? Keep it in mind that journal makes you recall some experience that you already had. While you are recalling, your thoughts are never in an organized way. Let's have a look at the journal first. 24 March 2021. Sammy's place. Why did I go there? Of course, it is the most disgusting hostel that I've ever lived in. I thought staying there would make my trip memorable. I thought spending some time there away from mom would change my entire life. I thought going there would be a great decision, but nothing what I expected exactly happened. I regret staying there. We'll begin a journal with the date and time of the year. Look at the first paragraph. You start with the same place that gave you a bad experience as Sammy's place. And in a journal, you are recalling or reflecting. So you are thinking aloud, asking rhetorical questions like, why did I go there? Which has no exact answer. Then there is a use of emotive language expressing your extreme feelings. While you are recalling, you can have a list of 3 because you can't think in an organized way. So here, I thought staying, I thought spending, I thought going. So you may have repetitions. Now let me read the rest of it. I regret staying there where I have sleepless nights. It's a reflective, self-reflective tone in first person's voice. Now I know how it feels like lying on the bed sheets and the mattresses which have not been washed in a decade. To get some fresh air, I also tried to open the windows of my room, but they didn't budge. The dead flies on their ledge show that nobody else ever dared to touch them before. The dim light in the room made the place eerie. Since I reached there, the bulb in my room had not even stopped flickering. It was somewhat dangerous too. What if there was fire and I couldn't get myself out through the jammed windows? Here you are thinking aloud again. How can I forget the bathroom basin, which seemed like a cake with the cherries of solid toothpaste blobs spread on it? Note to self, don't make such hasty decisions again because haste makes waste. So You are regretting going to such a place that gave you an unpleasant memory. This is how you write a journal. You may add more details to it, but I had to limit myself keeping the video's objective in mind. Now think about a formal letter. And the same questions like what does a formal letter keep? Why do you write a formal letter? Just pause the video and think about these two questions. A formal letter keeps the detailed information of something and its purpose is either to request or complain. We will change the same extract into a formal letter this time, and I'm not going to read the extract again. Imagine that Sasha's mother, Mrs. Wilkie, gave her a surprise visit and was not at all happy seeing her daughter staying at such a miserable place. So at her return, she writes a letter to Public Health Department asking the hostel to be shut. Now this is the time for you to think how you start a formal letter. Simply you address the person whom you are writing a letter to and end it with the sender's name. And now just have a look at the letter and notice the language used in it. Dear Public Health Officer, I'm writing to highlight the health and safety concerns regarding Sammy's place that I have recently visited. Firstly, the placement of the beds is highly unacceptable. I saw them placed so close that there wasn't an inch of space between them. Moreover, sleeping on those beds was quite repulsive due to the unwashed bed sheets on them. There was poor lighting which made the hostel room dark and dull. Of course, I saw a bulb, but its light was flickering. Aren't such electric fluctuations dangerous? They could have caused fire in the room. I tried to open the windows of the room, but they were also jammed, as if nobody has ever tried to open them before. Secondly, the poor hostel management made me completely shocked. Jet, the hostel manager, was not at all professional. He did not only allow the loud music being played at night, but also became a part of such noisy gathering at night, leaving his front desk unattended, which was quite risky for a hostel. Does he really care for our children? Of course not. Honestly speaking, Sammy's place has to be shut down as soon as possible because it is giving more harm than ease to our children. It is not only dirty but dangerous too. I'm sure that you as a public health officer will consider all my concerns regarding the well-being of the young people. Yours faithfully, Mrs. Wilkie. Letter in this text type is formal actually, so you use formal language. Unlike a journal, you have to present your case here in an organized way. Therefore, you can use discourse markers, the words like firstly, secondly, honestly speaking, and so on. The next text type is formal report. The same two questions. What does a formal report keep and why do you write a formal report? Just pause the video and think about these two questions. A formal report highlights the good or the bad conditions of something, and the purpose is to inform. Now keep Mrs. Wilkie's letter in mind and imagine that the same public health officer receives Mrs. Wilkie's complaint. So he gives a formal visit to Sammy's place and observes it at its worst condition. He then writes a formal report based on his observations. His formal report seems to be like this. Health and safety concerns. There were a few observations done during a routine visit to Sammy's place on 24th March 2021. First of all, the overall cleanliness of the hostel was questionable. During the inspection, it was observed that the hostel had not been cleaned for a long period of time. The bins were not emptied and the bathroom sink was not washed, and even the window ledge was covered with the dead flies. Secondly, there were a number of fire hazards noted. One of the light bulbs was seen constantly flickering. It could have been resulted into an explosion. Thirdly, the windows were found jammed due to the rusty window panes. It was noted that they had been kept closed for years. Lastly, it was observed that too many beds were kept in one room without leaving a space in between. The mattresses also had not been replaced. You must start a formal report with a title and a topic sentence that sums up the main idea. You may need discourse markers to make the text cohesive. like first of all, secondly, thirdly, lastly. Another important feature is the use of passive form of verbs, the bins were not emptied, the bathroom sink was not washed. Nobody's concerned about who didn't do these things. Everybody's interested what was not done. I mean, the bin was not emptied. Who empties it? Nobody's concerned about that. Bathroom sink, who washed the bathroom sink? Nobody is concerned about that. But bathroom sink was not washed. So what happens by using passive verb, passive form of verb, we are shifting the focus from the subject to the object. Our focus is not really on who, but we are more interested with what. Now the last text type is a news report. Same questions. What does a news report keep? Why do you write a news report? News report keeps an important news for the viewers or the readers, and the purpose is to inform. I want you to keep Mrs. Wilkie's letter and public health officer's formal report in mind. Now imagine that you are a news reporter highlighting the observations of public health officer and the views given by Mrs. Wilkie's in a news report for a national daily newspaper. And your news report would be like this. Sammy's Place told to shut its door for good. Yesterday, a hostel named Sammy's Place was asked to shut down after an inspection by the local health department. The health department received a lot of complaints from the parents regarding the dire and unsatisfactory condition of the hostel. One of such issues was cleanliness. It was reported that neither the bins were emptied nor the bed sheets were cleaned. Moreover, the bathroom sink was never washed. Sasha, who recently stayed at Sammy's Place, told us that the place was beyond repair. Mrs. Wilkie, Sasha's mother, said, "I can't believe it has taken such a long time to be shut down." News report always has a catchy title or a headline. You may start the first paragraph answering what, where, and when type of questions. The next paragraph answers why and how type of questions. Another important feature of a news report is the use of evidence in the form of direct or the reported speeches. That's all about different text types and their transformation. Next time I'll bring some other useful topic to talk about. Thank you so much.